I call that a holy smoke moment, right? Like, oh my goodness, man.
Your probability of getting noticed in each particular channel is not really increasing over time.
In the beginning, maybe it's one platform, more linear, and now it's more omnipresence, right? Welcome back to another episode of the Dan Lok Show, and today I have a special guest. Eugene Levin is the Chief Strategy and Corporate Development Officer at SEMRush. If you've been marketing online, you probably have seen the brand, or maybe you are a customer. Before joining SEMRush 5 years ago, Eugene was a partner in the international VC firm Target Global. Eugene, welcome to the Dan Lok Show.
Thank you, Dan. Great to be on your show.
First question for you is, what do you think is your superpower?
Oh, that's a good one. Unexpected. I think my superpower is luck. So that's an unusual one. If you think about like superheroes, Domino had this kind of superpower.
I was thinking about that. Yeah. X-Men, yes.
But I think the way I think about luck is not that it's a sort of flip of a coin. Being lucky is more about understanding probabilities and not making wrong choices to begin with. Like for example, I don't know, if you walk down the street and somehow you get into the fight, then mistake was not like, do you throw a left punch or right punch. The mistake was to be in the street in the first place.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I think about lucky, and when you look at the outcome, it feels like you're lucky, but it was kind of sequence of right decisions made on probability analysis.
And I know your background, even before going into VC, you were working a lot in the gaming industry, right?
Yep.
So how did you transition from gaming and to VC, and then from VC to SEMRush?
So I think, and I had a couple of jobs in tech before that, but I think gaming was really the first truly entrepreneurial role where we had to build something from scratch. And I think, I liked computer games from very, very beginning. As long as I remember myself, I loved computer games.
Yes.
My father bought some really cheap, really basic computer when I was 5. And all I wanted to do is to play games on this device. My father always wanted me to start, programming, but I kind of first didn't want to do any of this. I just wanted to play games. And I was fascinated by the whole idea that you can have entire world that you can be in, and this all happens in a computer. And even though those games in 90s, they were really basic, I was fascinated by how realistic they were. Like when Doom 2 came out, I thought this is a very realistic game. Right now, when I look at and it's a mess. Like it's not realistic at all.
The pixels and all that. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Back in the day, it felt like, this is almost like real life. So I was fascinated by games, and my dream always was, when I grow up, I will be building games. And you always have like your favorite games, and if I was doing this, I would do this even better. So I always felt like, one day I'll have enough money and I'll be building my own games, and they're going to be awesome. And that's why me and my friends decided to go into gaming. And we had 2 different businesses. The first one was kind of game development studio, and the second was publishing, where we took other people's games and published them in the Eastern Europe. And I think at the end of the day, it was really interesting business, really good experience. The problem is it was nothing like what I dreamed about when I was a kid. So And I felt this happens almost to everyone in the gaming industry. They enter gaming industry because of their kind of childhood experience and as a gamer. And then they realize it's actually very complicated software development business with a lot of nuances, and it's kind of hard to make money. And then it's even harder to finally get enough money to build this kind of game of your dreams.
Yes.
And
even after you build it, it's a whole other thing to just sell it to the world.
Yeah, and absolutely. And then even if you build it, it doesn't mean you will be commercially successful.
Yeah.
So I think, we scaled it to a very decent size. But at the end of the day, I felt like, we never had enough time to like shut down all the development and build our own games. So we were doing a lot of outsourcing for big guys like World of Tanks, Electronic Arts, so all those big players. We never had time to stop kind of this line of business and build our own IP. And then publishing was great, but then in publishing, like we had success with one game, and then we needed to start licensing new games. And at some points, it's a complicated decision.
Yes.
Because you're betting a lot of money on
I
your
feel
ability
I feel
to choose the right game.
I feel the gaming industry is very similar to the movie making industry, right?
Yeah.
That you can make a great movie, it's very complicated, it's a lot of risk. Chance of that losing money is very, very high. And then you got to sell the movie. Even if it is very, very successful, you're only as good as your last project, right? Then you got to think of the next game you're going to push, what it's going to look like. And that takes many, many years. And would the marketplace change? Would they lose interest? Nobody knows, right? It's good watching an action movie. It's not so good being in an action movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you actually see very similar trends right now between gaming, at least AAA gaming, and movies.
Yes.
Most of the commercial successes are franchises, like
yes.
just continuation of previous IP, and it's very, very hard to build entirely new IP and make it successful. And then if you think about money required to build something like this, like true AAA games, they could be more expensive than even blockbuster movies.
Yes.
And they also make more money at the end of the day, but this is kind of different league. You cannot go there. So so independent studio without support of publishers who own IP can maybe build something with a budget of $1 million, couple $1 million. It's not going to be the sort of game of your dream AAA kind of game. And then what it means, even if you have this kind of couple million to build your IP, it's going to be full of compromises because you cannot build an expensive game. You need to build good-looking game with interesting gameplay, also taking into account all the budget constraints. And that's sort of very hard. Very few people, end up being successful with this task. So, and another one was like games that we liked were not necessarily games that were making money at that time. Like games that would make money were like Supercell games or Machine Zone games. So those kind of mid-core strategy, online multiplayer games. And we didn't like, we liked like hardcore old school RPGs, and there was no money in this genre, so to speak, at that point.
Got it. And do you see now the whole gaming industry is much more, example, you look at PlayStation, you look at Xbox, now they have more back ends. They have more, hey, let's create a game, but the money, it's really, you buy more credits, you buy more coins, you buy more, like that's where the money is. They want you to spend money on that. The game, whatever, 30, 40, 50 bucks you spend it just to get you in the door, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this have been strategy that proved to be very successful with free-to-play games.
Yes.
And I think like right now, AAA games just adopting the same strategy. If you look at games that make more money, they have this sort of end game where, the game itself initially is just kind of something to put food through the door, and then they get you kind of on a hook and start monetizing properly. So
and then how did you go from gaming to VC and then to now SEMRush?
Yeah, so I mean, I started gaming. I started VC career even before gaming.
Yes.
So I've been partner in a seed stage firm. We did quite well, and then I wanted to kind of try myself as an entrepreneur. And then, as I said, at some point, this gaming business, we just felt, it's I would say it was a good lifestyle business. We felt it's not necessarily something that we want to do to the for the rest of our lives.
Got it.
And we closed some parts, we pivoted other parts. So one part of that business later became quite successful software as a service company.
Yes.
That ultimately was sold to another big software as a service company. But when we decided to go this way, I felt I can do something else and go back to venture capital. So I joined a firm called Target Global.
Yes.
Where I was focused mostly on kind of late stage, growth stage deals.
Okay.
Which is kind of something that I really like doing, because I think with growth stage, you make decisions much more based on data versus kind of your gut feeling.
Yeah.
So I felt that kind of this is kind of better place to be comparing to seed stage. I think seed stage requires kind of very, very strong, I would say intuition, like just understand, like subconscious understanding of how the world works. While
it's more abstract. It's more the founder, the feeling, the connection. Do they have the vision? It's more of a bet, right?
It's really, I think looking back at how we were making decisions, how I know other VCs make decisions. Yeah, some people would start looking at the team like they maybe want to see very experienced person in particular domain, or someone who is serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
And I guess it kind of gives you a little bit more safety, but statistically serial entrepreneur is going to be marginally better, and valuation of their company is going to be much higher. So during the seed round. So net, you're not necessarily getting better chances. But I think some people can do this better than other people.
Yes.
So and when you look at how they make decisions, I think it's more about like they have been thinking about something and had some idea. Obviously, investors cannot do a lot of things themselves. But they can invest in many things simultaneously. And I think usually when I've seen people invest in seed companies, usually would be something where investors already believe in this stuff. They just wanted to find group of people to build this.
Yes, that makes sense. And when you joined SEMRush, where the company was at, that was 5 years ago, correct?
Yeah.
Where was the company at, and since you joined the company, where's the company now?
Yeah, so I think when I joined, we already had, I would say, very strong product. Was primary reason why I joined. I've been using product myself for many years as a marketer and also as an investor to find market trends, to do search engine marketing and content marketing, and then also to do due diligence in a VC firm. So I knew product really well, and then I met founders, really liked them, really liked their vision. So I decided to join the company. I think in terms of the size, we were maybe a little bit over 100 people back then.
Okay.
And now we are over 950 people. So I think
almost 10 times.
A lot of growth.
Yes. And during that time when you joined the company, how did you add value to the company? What are some of the things that you've helped to contribute to that growth?
So I think from the beginning, I focused on couple of things. So first one, we were working on adding more experienced executives to the leadership team. So for example, my job was to hire, let's say, chief revenue officer to establish sales operations. We started increasing our presence in the United States. So significantly expanded our office in Philadelphia, and opened 2 more offices in Dallas and in Boston, and then relocated our headquarters to Boston. But the main goal was to kind of start building the leadership team.
How many people were on the leadership team when you joined?
Well, I mean, we had, I think we had kind of more or less full house, so to speak.
Okay,
But
okay.
I think some people who were at that point, they were not necessarily right people for the next step.
Got it.
But we already had extremely strong chief product officer,
Okay.
who is still probably the best chief product officer I've ever met.
Wow.
And we are still lucky to have him.
Yeah.
And then we had founders who were with the company from the very beginning, still with the company, and superstars.
So you had the kind of full C-suite teams, but you felt that maybe some of them capabilities or the fit, they're just not quite ready to go to the next level.
And we also didn't have back in the day, we didn't have a chief revenue officer, so that was important position to hire. Then if you look at who joined the company after that, chief HR officer, new CFO, and general counsel. So a lot of kind of this new very experienced executives who have been with companies that are probably even bigger than SEMRush and know how to do this. So I think that was very important part. And then sometimes also to attract really high quality talent, you have to raise money from notable investors. So I was also raising money from investors. Beyond that, back in the day, we were launching a lot of initiatives, but I would say my role was primarily building analytics muscles. So I focused on like frameworks to make decisions. So I started building analytics team, as well as working on packaging, monetization, and pricing. So those were my kind of added value things from the beginning.
Just for my audience, for my listeners, for my viewers, maybe give them a 2-minute explainer video kind of ish. What exactly is SEMRush, in case they don't know, and what problems and what market you serve?
Yeah, so SEMRush is an online visibility management platform. So it's a software product that helps businesses, especially small, mid-sized businesses, to improve their online visibility in all key channels, from organic search and paid search to social media, digital PR, content marketing, and so on. So it's a platform of products that people can use to get more traffic and ultimately get more business online.
Awesome. And today, do you guys within the small, medium-sized business, do you have certain verticals you focus on? You kind of serve everybody?
Yeah, we have customers across pretty much everything you can imagine. I always think about this in a way that if you have a website and you want to get more traffic, then you probably would benefit from our product.
Got it.
And right now, I think almost every business needs website and needs traffic.
Yes. And okay, so then let's go back. So besides executive team, that growth, that really is exponential growth. What else you could see that you have implemented, executive team has implemented, that has worked for the company to create that kind of growth? Because that's amazing in 5 years.
Yeah, yet again, I think when I joined, I think the most important things were already right, which is mostly product. I think once you have a product where customers clearly see value exchange, like they're willing to pay money for getting your service, it's more about optimizing and polishing everything. So for us, I think establishing sales team was a big step forward. Back in the day.
Sales team, okay.
Yeah.
And is sales team doing just outbound?
So no, we have inside sales team model.
Okay.
Where people first get to the website, then they register, and then only after that we'll start working with them. And also we usually reach out kind of after they show at least some interest, because it's a kind of classic inside sales model.
Yeah, inside sales. Okay, and then what's the pricing model for SEMrush?
So we have 3 core price plans.
Okay.
So the first one is $120 per month. Second one is $240.
Okay.
And then the last one is $450. So that's kind of main plans. And then on top of main plans, we also have add-ons. So parts of functionality that you can buy on top. And we also have extended limits, like if you have a big team, you will have to buy more users. So it's a combination of kind of classic SaaS ladder.
Three, I call that 3 boxes. Yes.
Yeah, 3. Yeah. And I think about this as a 3 dimensions, because if you expand in one dimension, you usually expand in another dimension automatically. But yeah, so main dimension is just classic set of main subscriptions. Then we have add-ons, and then we have extended usage limits, like users that people can purchase.
Eugene, what about in terms of marketing? Did you guys scale up your ad budget, or did you do more organic to attract more customers? So besides the team, besides the sales team, because that's inbound, that's inside sales, but what did you do to get that many more leads, right? That's a lot of people coming in, right?
Yeah, so what we started doing is we definitely expanded our paid marketing.
Okay. But
at the same time, our approach that we follow both in the product and in our own marketing is that people spend time everywhere, right? Yes. So in the morning, check your email, and then you check your Facebook, Twitter, whatever you do. Yes. Sometime in the middle of the day during lunch, you maybe watch
just a couple times a day.
Yeah, it's not addictive at all, and you can stop at any point. Right?
That's right.
So and then the rest of the day you search for stuff online, right? You're Googling things. You're reading blogs. So my idea is that people spend time in all those different places. So if you want to be visible, if you want people to remember you, you have to be in all those places. If you focus your marketing efforts on one channel, then you have a shot at people twice a day. Like if you focus only on search, you say my user acquisition strategies, paid search, then you have a shot 2 times a day when people search for stuff. You don't appear on their radar rest of the day. If you do everything, then you have a shot in the morning, you have a shot in the middle of the day, and you are there all the time for them to see you. And that's kind of approach that we do ourselves, and same approach that we teach our customers to do, because it's getting increasingly important to be visible, considering that more and more businesses going online and they produce more and more content. So your probability of getting noticed in each particular channel is not really increasing over time, because you have limited amount of customer attention and you have more and more and more content created every day. So if you need to be visible, you got to be in all those places. Yet again, this is an approach that worked for us quite well, and this is something that we are teaching our customers to do. And also, this is where we focus our product development, because we started 12 years ago as a product for search engine marketing, so organic and paid search, but we expanded our product very significantly because we saw the need, and we saw that you can be truly successful by focusing only on one thing these days.
Yes, that makes sense. So at the end of the day, it's focusing on, okay, how could I help the businesses get more leads, get more sales, get more customers? In the beginning, maybe it's one platform, more linear, and now it's more omnipresence, right? It's like, hey, how can you be everywhere for your customers so they find you, you're in front of them all the time? Now, in terms of differentiation, because of course there are different softwares out there, the different competitors, how do you see SEMrush differentiate from all these other competitors out there?
So the way we think about our product is, first of all, it's very important to have most complete solution. So in a way that you're not really competing with anyone as a platform. You may be competing with some people as point solutions, but if you have the most complete offering, then when people go shopping, they're like, okay, I have a choice. You know, I want to work in 5 channels. I don't know. I have a choice to buy 5 different products or something where I get everything in one place. And it's kind of almost no-brainer that people kind of would prefer more convenient option. So I think that's the first part where you differentiate. And then we also have, because we work in all those different channels, we have a very, very unique combination of data assets that we collect from.
Like how does that help business owners?
So yeah, you can think about it this way. Let's say we have content marketing product, and the purpose of our content marketing product is to kind of tell people how they can write content. So for example, give them suggestions about what titles they need to use, how long content should be, what keywords they need to use in the content, you know, what kind of readability target should be, what tone of voice they should be targeting, and so on. So that's the purpose of our content marketing process, to give people suggestions. Now, if we were a social media tool, we would give those suggestions based on social media data that we have.
Yes.
If we were search engine optimization tool, we would be given those suggestions based on search engine data that we have. Or if we were a digital PR tool, we would be given those suggestions based on PR data, mentions, and what journalists are writing about. But because we have data from all those places, we can combine them and give people suggestions based on all of those things. So their content will have simultaneously kind of trendy headline that people would want to share and interact with on social media. And at the same time, they will have really good text optimized for search. So this content is going to rank in organic search. And this is something that can be achieved only by combining data from multiple different places.
I like that.
This is just one example.
That makes sense. Because Dan, because you've been in business for so long, all these years of data, there is a huge competitive advantage. Because basically you're saying, hey, we know what works, right? You can use some other tool, but we kind of have the playbook. We know this works, not just for our own companies, but for the millions and millions of customers that you have. So it's like the longer you're in business, the more users you have, the more powerful the software, right?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, in a way.
Makes sense. What about Eugene? Let's say I'm a business owner. I'm running a business, right? I have a blog. I have a little bit of social media. If I was to become a client, because if you can walk me through that, let's say I have a WordPress blog. I have a WordPress blog. I've got a YouTube channel. I've got an Instagram. I own a local business. I started with SEMRush. What are some of the things I would need to shift? I would need to change to get better results, to get more clients?
Yeah, so I think it would really depends on what kind of business you have. But if it's a local business with WordPress website, we definitely would start by just doing audit. So just check overall technical health of the website. If it's properly built, how fast is it? What's user
Loading
experience?
speed.
Do you have any issues? If you have a lot of content that is already created, like maybe you have a blog, we'll also scan your blog and provide some low-hanging fruits. Like you already did heavy lifting, you already created all this content. Now, maybe you should just add a couple keywords here and there. Maybe you should just add a couple paragraphs about this thing. Maybe you need to add video. So we'll just give you a couple recommendations about what you can improve with content that you already have. We'll also set up your analytics products to understand how your traction changes over time, so you can monitor your progress. Because it's a local business, you probably would want to have citations properly built, so your data is consistent across all directories, such as Yelp, Facebook, Google,
all the reviews,
TripAdvisor, whatever is relevant for your business. So we have list management product that helps to do that. And then also, if you need to update your hours or upload new pictures, maybe you have a new menu, or start providing new services, or maybe you have some promotion, so you can publish this in appropriate listing directories. And we also will start monitoring how you rank on Google Maps for a particular set of keywords you're interested in. Yeah, that's probably kind of the first kind of phase. Yeah, and then after that, you'll have to start looking at what other people are doing, because I think you cannot design your go forward strategy in a vacuum. You need to understand what works for other people. So we have a lot of products that will help you to do this kind of research across all key channels. And primarily they will show you, okay, who are your competitors, why they're successful, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. So you can look closer at things they're doing right and try, to copy them in a way.
Yes.
And that would mean usually you'll have to create new content. You'll have to start running more content through social media accounts and build followership. And again, when we talk about content creation, campaign execution, we have a lot of those tools. So we talked a little bit about our content creation tools that help you to build content and identify topics that will resonate with the audience. We also have tools that allow to publish this content through your social media accounts, so you don't have to post everything manually there. And then once you run this campaign, we help to measure the results using using analytics products that you already probably set up on the first step.
Yes.
But you can now, because you're running more campaigns, you can see more granular results related to those new campaigns. So that's kind of the cycle. We call it lean cycle of marketing. In a way, first you have to identify growth opportunities.
Yes.
Then you have to build content around those opportunities. Then you execute campaigns, distribute content through key channels, social media, digital PR. If it's relevant content for digital PR, like if it's a local business, sometimes you're not going to do digital PR, but if it's a digital business, you probably want to try to distribute it through some journalists, and also paid. I mean, you can never underestimate paid. So sometimes it really helps to start running advertising campaigns to drive a little bit more attention to your product and your content. And then we help to measure results. So ultimately, once you review results, you can either double down on this strategy or go back to research stage and start researching new strategies.
Eugene, is interesting because I'm curious with, I think a lot of SaaS companies now, the ones who are thriving, depends on the niche, but there's the education component. It's one thing to say, hey, here's an amazing software, but most people would be like, well, how does this work? How do I use it? How does that work? When did you guys launch the Academy, and how has that helped the company overall? Retaining customers, attracting new customers?
Yeah. So yeah, for us, Academy is really continuation of our vision and our mission to empower as many marketers as possible. And the thing is, people, especially entrepreneurs, when you think about how they get into business, they usually have an idea and they're passionate about something, and they just start building, because this is kind of who we are. We just build stuff, and we never have time to learn, how to sell this stuff, how to market this stuff, and that was kind of big gap that we wanted to fulfill, because we saw in many cases we have really talented people who use our product, but they're just not marketers, and we need to make them marketers as fast as possible, because as I said, right now, especially if you rely on online presence in terms of your customer acquisition, you have to be marketer.
Yes.
So but that's why we started creating all those courses in the academy to teach people at least basics of the marketing so they can properly use the tool and achieve results. And we've seen a lot of great stuff, very positive feedback from people who sort of went from 0 to 1, like not knowing what they do, to becoming real pros. One of my favorite guys is, we have a customer which is dentist clinic in Liverpool, and their CEO who is like dentist, running their marketing, and they went from like being not really well-known clinic to being one of the top clinics in their city, in a very short period of time. All of that's, from using our product, implementing right recommendations, and also learning through our academy. So that's kind of, for me, like, when artists see their painting finished, for me, that's almost like the same kind of feeling. When you see people who couldn't do marketing before, then, went through academy, started using product properly, achieved great results. That's kind of best thing that kind of sort of makes my day, in a way.
And I always believe that an educated, informed customer is a better customer, because now we could give them the best tool, but if they are not educated or properly informed, then it's very difficult for them to get the most out of the tool that we are giving them, right? And by helping them becoming better marketer, for sure, then they use the tool more often. And it also makes them better customers. Like they retain more, they get more results, they're happy, they give you referrals and reviews, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely helps to get better customer. I'm thinking about this. Customers in general become better customers when they're more successful. And they have more, more results using your products. So it's our job to help them achieve better results. Sometimes you have to do this through education, but ultimately, yes, by having more success, they also become better customer. Yeah.
Do you find that also, like as we've talked about the good things, are there, during the 5 years you had with the company, are there moments where it's like, oh, this is a big challenge that we're seeing, or this is like when we grow from this size to this size, like what are some of those, like, I call that holy smoke moments, right? Like, oh my goodness, man, like we're growing, but this is a big problem. Like, and how did you overcome those problems?
Yeah, I think those moments happen all the time. I think it's like, when we talk to our product teams, I usually like to say that the day you come to me and say there are no problems to solve, I kind of don't really need you anymore, right? Yeah.
Then we got a big problem.
So that's the big problem. Until you see what else we can do and how we can improve the product, that's a right problem to have, in a way. But I think, like any company that is going through growth and changes, I think it's hard things are maintaining culture as you scale organization. Yeah. Especially when you have more and more people who join the company who, let's say, never had the same experience working with founders day to day. Yeah. That's a big kind of challenge for every organization that is going through kind of growing phase. And then also like changing structure and adopting it to kind of new scale. Also always
but what do you guys do now with 950 people? I assume a lot of them working remote, some may be in the office, but like, how do you, like, it's one thing to have a team of 100, it's a whole other thing to have a team of almost 1,000. Like, how do you have everybody engaged? Like, what are some of the things that you guys do? Maybe tools, maybe just even rituals, right? Habits to have the team, the people engaged.
So yeah, we from the very beginning, we had kind of culture where we encourage people to take a lot of responsibility and ownership, and in return, we would give them a lot of freedom to make their kind of own choices.
Autonomy.
So in a way, we have very decentralized organization where people can work autonomously. So for us, switching from in-office environment to
remote
environment was not that hard.
Okay.
I would say the biggest challenge in switching is emotional. Like a lot of people just like to be with other people in the same room. Again, maybe not necessarily every day, but I think you start appreciating your colleagues only when you have to spend that much time without opportunity to talk to them and meet them in person.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, more of a challenge, but also I think in many offices we already can allow people to return if they want. We still provide an option to work remotely if it works better for them.
Yeah.
But I think it's already, much better. And as I said, we were set up in the right way where people can work autonomously, and they don't require like daily supervision in a way.
Yes. And do you have different people working in different time zones, obviously, right? How do you guys have meetings?
So yeah, that's actually one very interesting part. So we have we still have a lot of overlap in terms of time zones between offices. So we have a lot of people in Europe.
Okay.
And then we have most of other people in kind of New York time zone.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have people in Boston, Philadelphia. So the only office that is kind of far from that kind of main time zones is Dallas, but it's also not that far.
Okay.
But also it allows us to cover West Coast in terms of our sales activities. So Dallas is kind of enough to kind of cover almost full day for California.
Got it.
But outside of this, we have at least 4 or 5 hours of overlap, so it's enough for people to do meetings. But for example, when we were thinking what should be our main headquarters in the United States, we thought about California or Austin, Texas. We felt that would be too far from European time zone. We would not have enough overlap.
Okay, makes sense.
So that's why Boston, for example, we considered only cities on the East Coast.
You can still make it work. Yeah, it makes sense.
You can still make it work. And also we tell people in Europe to start working a little bit later. So maybe they start at noon, and then in United States we start working a little bit earlier. So I start So I start working at like 7, 8 a.m. And this way I have a lot of overlap.
Nice. And then do you have, I assume now so many different divisions, then the division head is having meetings with different time zones. Now the time is okay, so that doesn't affect too many things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. It's interesting because we just started incorporating within my organization. Some of the team members actually have a Friday, like late afternoon. They would like play some games online together. Just to helps with the bonding, right? Just little things like that to make sure that, hey, it's not just work all the time, but that we can get to know each other a bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a lot of activities of this kind when everyone was in the office, but I'm kind of looking forward towards continuing this tradition once coronavirus is over.
Yes.
But yeah, we do a lot of kind of in-person activities where people can learn more about their colleagues. It's really important to work with people in a way that who they are, what's important for them. Otherwise, if you work only through Zoom and email and Slack, at some point people stop being people and they become just some text
machines. Kind of like we become very robotic, right?
Yeah. And it's very important for teams to have empathy to each other. And that, as I said, that's why I think when this kind of pandemic is over, will probably be back to office, not necessarily like 100% of time, because I think it's, once people had a taste,
hybrid, right?
Yeah, but probably some hybrid environment. But we still have a lot of time to figure out how exactly it's going to work. And we see that many companies is, still in the process of understanding. But
and then going forward, now 5 years, huge amount of growth. What do you see the next 5 years? Like where the company's going, also your role in it?
Yeah, I think, my role, I think more or less the same. I recently started working more on corporate development. So last year we acquired a company called Prowly to expand our product in digital PR space. And I think, I'll probably keep doing more or less the same. It's actually funny that, as company gets bigger, you actually senior leadership usually takes more narrow roles, which is counterintuitive. Like the idea is usually company gets bigger, so I have to worry about more stuff. In reality, what I see is that as company gets bigger, you can have people who are like really, really good in specific areas. So you don't have to spend time there, and you can be more focused on things you're good at. And I'm still in the process of like wearing less hats. At the beginning, I have had too many.
How big is the executive team now? How many people are on executive team?
Yeah, so we have the full team. So
12?
Chief Revenue Officer, Chief Product Officer, CFO, Chief HR Officer, Chief Strategy Officer, which is me, General Counsel, and 2 founders for CEO and CEO.
Okay, makes sense. That makes sense. Awesome. For my viewers and listeners who want to find out more about SEMRush, what's the best way for them to do that, for them to just kind of get the ball rolling and get started, if they want more visibility online?
Yeah, absolutely. So just go at SEMRush.com. I think website is super easy to navigate. You get into the product very fast. If you want to learn more about marketing, we have a great blog. And we also produce tons of educational content for our academy. And also we have YouTube channel with a lot of this educational content. So I think once you get to SEMRush.com, it'll be very easy to navigate from that.
Awesome. Thank you, Gene. Thank you for being on the show, and thank you for being so generous, sharing your ideas, and love the gaming metaphor, analogy, and some of the things that you've learned. It's very fascinating, but thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Hi, this is Dan Lok. We're looking to invest $10 million in 100 tech startups in the next 3 years. You could be one of them. If you are a founder of a tech startup, if you are looking for financial capital, guidance, and mentorship, go to www.danlokventures.com to see if you qualify.